Why the hell wasn't that recorded?
Because you were too slow, Brad.
Oh my god. Someone's gonna bathe the youngin'. Lord. Okay. You guys ready to actually do this? And do you guys want to get them out of your systems? It's been a few weeks. Do you want to say fuck you, Brad, just for good faith?
I feel we've said it enough on the side.
Just gonna save it for an episode. All right. Well then, on that note, here we go. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war, and tonight there is only Warhammer. Welcome to the Tainted Hive, the first season of our Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Maledictum podcast. I'm your GM, Brad, guiding our group. Joining me in the today are Justin, Eric, and Mike.
And
Alex.
So
I got you.
Instead of climbing up the list, I'm just not even on it. So no, it's cool. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I had to make sure you remember where you stood in episode 10 as we embark on episode 11, where you just didn't even make the list.
I'll say it for you, Alex. Fuck you, Brad.
There it is. I was waiting for one. It's been too long. I feel like it's been years since I've gotten a fuck you, Brad, out of you guys. So, gentlemen, happy Warhammer. How we doing?
What's Warhammer?
It's ready to remember what we were doing.
It's this weird game we haven't played in weeks.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so we're going to do a double dose recap. So I'm going to kind of recap a little bit of episode 9 into an episode 10 recap for you guys, just to try to help get the gears turning, since we did have a little bit of a gap here. So, last time on the Tainted Hive, as you all had been within Battery Manufactorum 6.938, when we first picked up in episode 9, Mordecai, you were, all of you actually had stepped into the Manufactorum trying to find a distraction and find a little bit of information of where the gratis was actually being distributed from. You did know that there was gratis distribution at the Manufactorum. The question became who, where, was it, as you like to call him, Ragu, or the gentleman from the Thaler Hostelry, or someone else? Through a series of unfortunate events that would put Lemony Snicket to shame, one person lost their arms, a las pack exploded like a frag grenade from being overly welded, a metronome tipped over, and another worker of the Manufactorum almost fell into a vat of acid, and Quinton had purgated his warp charges, triggering a bit of a psychic phenomena where quite obviously a cultist of chaos elected to pull out a las pistol and begin firing indiscriminately into the crowd. Now, after you dealt with all that last episode, we stepped back out and you left the Manufactorum. Mordecai, you escaped the exploding the exploding las pack. And as you all stepped out into we called it the promenade, the fancy word for the alley, in between the two different Manufactorums, you went out in the hopes of finding who had been distributing the gratis. And you did find them. In fact, you found a small group of them who had been distributing the gratis. And one was the gentleman with the multiple spikes in his head, wearing red, along with a group of his lackeys. Now, as you tried to interact with them, you were caught a guard, I should say, when they quickly realized you were not one of their buyers. In fact, you were not even really someone they wanted to be interacting with. And so they elected to deal with you, which, despite your concerns of that meaning certain death, basically meant they said, hey, fuck off, we don't want to talk to you. And they took off further into the into the hive. Now, Quinton, because they never saw you, never noticed you, no one ever seems to do so, you followed them directly onto a lift and managed to stay just out of touch range, as this lift has who you think is Rigel and a few other members on it, and found your way to the next level that you were heading. And you followed them as they went to and towards the Edifice of Tears. Now, as this is happening, with the party split, Dmitry, Roderick, and Mordecai, you managed to also quickly grab a lift to, literally, on a truck to one of the lifts, and then take that lift to beat them to the Edifice of Tears. As you reached the bar, you realized that the Makarian Vigilites kept a distance from the bar itself. They did not come in within a certain distance of the bar, and it was very quick and easy to see that perhaps there was some level of dealing here where the Vigilites just didn't step into this bar itself. So, as you all entered the bar in an effort to try to blend in, to try to understand what's going on, and to continue your investigation into the source of the gratis, Dmitry, you made your way over to a group of 2 Astra Militarum individuals who were drinking heavily. Roderick, you made your way to a entirely different gang, not the Valathi Knives, in all black, who you didn't quite identify at this point. And Mordecai, you had a glass of the drink called the Tears, and you sat across the bar from Dmitry, refusing to sip your drink because it smelled basically like pure gasoline. So, within the bar itself, as we left off, people were dancing to the music and hymns that played through the very old, very loud laud hailers. There are others who seem to just be absolutely drunk on both alcohol and atmosphere, having a great time. And as we left off, Quinton walked in trailing Ragel, or who you think is Ragel, and a few of his men who went, smells like opportunity.
I would just like to clarify, we definitely know it's Ragel. I remember we confirmed it last time.
We did. It's very good.
I'm making up for the time when I may or may not have spilled the beans way too early.
The description of this bar makes me feel like it's just Cotton Eye Joe blasting through the speakers the whole time.
I hope so.
So as this is happening, as, you know, to your point, Roderick, you do know it is Ragel. Just making a little fun at my own expense here.
How dare you? How dare you have fun, Brad? You're not allowed.
No fun, sir.
No fun allowed.
So as Ragel walks in and you see him kind of do the smells like opportunity. And as he does that, Roderick, you had made your way over to another group. And as we were leaving off, we were about to break into a lot of social interactions. So let's start with you, Roderick. You've made your way towards this table. There are a group of 7 individuals in black leathers hanging out, drinking, talking. And as you approached, you kind of tried to slide in being in black yourself. And we didn't quite get to what the outcome of that is. So first and foremost, you step up to the table, and as you are, Ragel walks in, and you see as one of them turns and kind of looks to you. And the individual who looks to you is a female. She is tall, imposing, with long black hair in a severe bun, held together with a knife. Her face is scarred, like heavily scarred. An acid burn on one cheek, multiple cut marks on the other, and her eyes are a flint gray. Her black leather armor is studded shoulders, studded breastplate, studded legs. Like, looks like somebody out of a Mad Max biker uniform, only not dirty and not impoverished. Seems actually, compared to most people, fairly energetic and well fed. And she looks to you, tips her nose back and goes, "Can we help you?"
Are they playing a game or anything like that, or are they just kind of carousing?
Carousing. Sitting there, drinks in hand. You kind of walked up on them milling about, chatting.
Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of look at her, be like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. Just looked like you all were having a good time." And I look around the room. I seem to be wearing the right uniform, and I give her kind of a wry smile, as I am also wearing a black trench coat.
She tips back and she just goes,
If I'm not wanted, just say so. It's perfectly fine. Don't know very many people in town, and I'm here for a few days. Thought I might get to know you guys a little bit better. Look like my kind of folk.
Directly to her right, a square-jawed, clean-shaven person who is half of his jaw is actually an augmetic. He looks to you and he plants a meaty fist on the table, and you realize that half of his knuckles are also fake. But they're not covered with fake flesh. They are just metal. And as he does, you can hear the gears, and he leans onto it, and the table actually cracks a little under his weight, and he goes, "We have no problem if you stay, but what do you bring for us?"
I look around.
Wear the uniform.
They all drinking?
All of them are drinking. He leans in and he says, "You wear the uniform. You want to be a scarred hand?"
Well, it depends. Can the scarred hands hold their liquor? Maybe I'll buy a round. We'll find out.
He scowls heavily, and then he grins and he goes, "You do that. Then we talk."
I will very handily, if there's a waitress walking around or whatever, I'll just kind of do the round for my friends.
A barmaid, for lack of a better term, takes the order and heads back over. You realize that they are all drinking that clear, distilled, pure gasoline-smelling liquor, and they're not sipping it. They are throwing them back.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, fuck.
Perfect. Okay, so that's where you're at right now. Now, again,
how much did that shit cost me? That's my next question. But, take your time.
Well, let's get you that cost right now, really quick. I want to say, oh God, I just, I should know this, and I don't remember what I charged you last time. So I want to say it was,
I don't remember either. So
5 solars a drink. Yeah, I want to say it was 5 solars a drink. Let's call it 5 solars per. And I will quickly recheck after this, and if that's wrong, we can correct later.
Sounds good.
But so it'll cost you, for you and them, 40 solars.
I already have a drink in hand, but
And then 35 solars.
Sure.
All right, so to jump, we're gonna kind of simultaneously do things. Again, smells like opportunity. Dmitry, you actually faintly hear this because he's walking in a door shortly by you and the 2 Astra Militarums. Now, you had been sipping with them, and you had started to broach the conversation with them both, but not quite. You see 2 members of the Astra Militarum, faded fatigues, absolutely just look exhausted off their ass, sipping their liquor, barely talking.
Yeah, I mean, my only plan was just to chop it up enough to not be out of place.
Okay.
I don't think I have enough influence to do much more than that, honestly. That's a 1, right? I mean, that's pretty much it. You're accepted. You can talk basic shop talk.
Yeah, so think about it like this. Your influence, it's not temporary. You have a permanent +1 to your influence. What that means is that you get +1 on all of your tests around fellowship with that faction. So
sure,
it's not a lot, but it's more than the rest of these guys have. To that point, as you sit down and you talk shop with them, you find out that they're just a couple of planetary PDF members. They have nowhere near the experience you do. They are just absolutely haggard from just being bored, going through their routine drills, going through routine training. They made their way down to this bar in the hopes to have a good time. And so far, all they've done is just drink heavily.
Have you weapons training? Have you been engaging in much of that?
One of them looks to you and goes, a bit. Mostly they've got us just stripping and cleaning our guns. Nothing really happens around here. Rokarth's been quiet since the Noctis Eterna rolled back. It's kind of nice, actually. Nice, cushy gig. And he rolls his eyes and he goes, although I guess if you're stuck in servitude, you'd rather not have it be too cushy.
Cushy better than dead.
That's true. However, cushy doesn't mean you can't end up dead. And as he says that, he kind of looks over his shoulder at a couple of the knives and he goes, you don't sound like you're from here. You off planet?
Many time.
The hell are you doing down here?
On planet.
Whoa, I mean, yeah, we figured that much since you're here at the bar, but what brought you to Rokarth if you're not a PDF member or a member of the guard that's being stationed here?
Running errands. And I'm going to go back to my drink. I'm not trying to reciprocate info to these guys.
Yeah. He catches you,
especially since they sound like they aren't worth anything.
Okay. He catches the vibe and he looks at you and goes, all right, won't press, but kind of half cocks his head in the direction of the knives, and he goes, just be careful with the locals, yeah?
Appreciate it.
He motions to the bartender and he orders 3 drinks, one for him, one for his buddy, one for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mordecai.
What?
You are currently sitting on your own across from Dmitry, watching this happen as you hear, smells like
Don't do it again.
I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to drive
enjoying
it home.
it a little too much.
So Mordecai, you were sitting there. You were not sipping your drink. Anything you want to do while you're sitting at that side of the bar, kind of looking out?
No, I'm definitely just kind of as inconspicuously as possible, just kind of sizing up everybody in the room, seeing if there's getting an idea of how many people are in, how many exits we have to this building, where I can take cover if needed, and if I get a sense of kind of who's, lack of a better term, main characters in here.
Okay. Give me, with you sitting at the bar, at the side of the bar you're on, which is facing the entire actual interior because you're on the exterior seats, give me a easy +40 awareness sight test, please.
21 to start the day. That's fun.
Hey, there you go.
3 success levels, sir.
3 success levels. Okay, you very easily see that there are just over 50 people in this bar.
More than I thought.
It looks to be about half capacity. You've got the group that Roderick is with, who compose of 8. There's another group of Valathi knives in red at another table, and there's 7 of them. You have Ragul. Good lord, you guys are going to kill me with this Ragu thing.
Ragel, a.k.a. Big Ragu.
You have Ragel, a.k.a. Big Ragu, walking in with his 4 members as well. So you've got, just for the knives alone, you've got 12. And then you've got the 7 scarred hands that Roderick is talking to. So that alone eats up half the bar. The rest is the milling of the standard populace. There's a few people who appear to be like pilgrims. Entrances and exits. There's the one that you came in from, which is the same one that Big Ragu is coming in right now. And there's one other across the bar beyond where everyone's sitting that seems to go out further into the Hive level. That's it. In terms of actual cover, you've got the bar itself that is kind of, like I said, that horseshoe-shaped, U-shaped with square corners. All the tables themselves. But really beyond that, there's not much.
Sure. Do I get the sense that the knives and the folks with the black trench coats are separating themselves pretty well, or do they seem to be interacting at all?
100% separated. There is a gulf between them where they've each kind of posted up in a different corner of the bar.
I'm just going to kind of lay back then. I'll keep an eye on the knives. I'm not going to stare at them, but if I see conversations pop up, I'm going to try and get an idea what they're talking about.
Okay. Now, Mordecai, with your +3, you notice something very strange as you look at the Valathi knives table. You see someone who you recognize. You see someone who you saw carted off for execution this morning. You see Eragan sitting at the table with the knives.
Ruh-roh.
And he's sitting there and he's got a glass in hand, ruddy-cheeked, and he's laughing as he throws it back.
Yeah, I'm going to send out an SOS in our telepathic link here.
Quinton's immediately going to draw his knife at that.
Okay.
He's not going to brandish it, he's palming it so it's tight to his forearm, but ready, this fucker's here.
Don't worry, nobody's going to notice what he's doing.
Well, there's one person I haven't rolled for yet.
Respect, Quinton. Respect.
To be fair, I did probe this guy's mind earlier, so I'm pretty sure he's aware of me.
Yep. That violates it. That being said, the person that actually is speaking to Roderick just rolled a 92, so yeah, no idea. right, so Quinton, you've drawn your knife. Mordecai, you've sent out the SOS. I'm also kind of
trying to fade back into like the shadows, trying to be like, oh shit, someone might know of me.
Yeah, so given that I seen him and had my foot on his chest not that long ago, I guarantee he would recognize me. So I'm going to find... Is there like... Did I notice like a small hallway to a restroom or anything?
There are the equivalent of restrooms off on the east side, which would be from where you're sitting to your right.
Based on my best judgment in this room, I'm going to find a place where I feel more or less that he doesn't have direct line of sight to me.
So based on your roll...
I've got blue hair. He's gonna see me. So...
Based on your roll and based on the layout of the building, so Quinton, you also mentioned shadows. You are in the shadows, I'm going to call it in the shadows, air quotes, the feet of this massive statue. As a reminder, it is a massive acid rain burned statue where the details have pretty much washed away. Everyone says it's a saint, but they're not sure. The bar itself,
I would like to add one more detail I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
As I'm fading back, I am going to be looking for someone's jacket. Is that just like hung over a chair or something? And I'm just going to take it and put it on.
Okay.
Yeah, and retcon what I said as well. I'm just gonna throw my hood up.
Okay, hood up.
Keep my eyes low.
Well, the good news for your retcon is you're actually in the most inauspicious place because you are covered by a little bit of roof, so you're in the most shadowed space. The space where Quinton, where the rest of you are, is very much lit by large lights that kind of point down with the laud hailers underneath them that are booming out the sound. Quinton, you find a jacket literally sitting next to Dmitry on one of the chairs. If you were to walk his way, both of the Astra Militarum folks have ditched their jackets on the backs of their chairs.
I'm just going to casually, as I'm walking by, grab it, throw it down like nothing, and just keep walking.
Okay.
I'm also going to, as I'm walking, based on where Mordecai said that guy is, I'm going to try to always stay to the back of him. So I don't want to be walking out in front of his vision.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I just one clarifying thing, Eric. Just because he could technically notice you, would he recognize you? Because he wouldn't have been invaded by you until after he was basically unconscious. So would he even recognize you? Even if he did notice you? Okay.
And DM ruling, and also, or Quinton's not going to take the risk of that.
Okay.
Also, additionally, I'm hoping with my unremarkable talent in combination with all these other things, I'm kind of going to blend in, but we'll see.
Now, you've got up into a few people's minds. Is this the dude that we choked out and then you got into his mind? Okay.
Yeah, this was at the episode 2 or 3.
If anything, I'm the one that needs to be careful because I was real close to him for a while before giving him a hug.
You interacted with him heavily.
But I'm actively in a group of other people that are dressed like me.
Am I tracking this right? Like where I'm at the bar, that's not where he is?
No,
like
no.
Separate areas?
The bar is, let's call the bar for the sake of directions here. The bar is the south side of the space. It's at the foot of the actual statue. The space where Roderick is north of that. There's like almost like a beer garden, for lack of a better phrase. The actual structure of the bar, not the building of the bar, but the bar itself where you get a drink, is on that edge right under the feet of the saint. And the spaces for drinking, all the tables are further beyond that, within the shadow of the saint. So, Dmitry and Mordecai, you are both as far from him as you can possibly be while being in the bar. Roderick, not so much. But you're on opposite sides of this yard because you're hanging out with the scarred hands and he's over with the Valathi knives.
Yeah. I'm not so worried. I'm like trying to blend in with a group of people who arguably look pretty similar to what I look like right now.
Yeah. So as this happens, you all see as at this point, Regel makes his way over to the table of the knives and they begin to mill and talk. Now, I'd like Roderick.
Bradley.
Yes.
I just want to point out that I am actively trying to see what they're talking about because I can read lips. So I don't know if I'm with...
Oh my God, I forgot you could. Okay.
Yeah, I sure can, sir.
That's a great call out. So actually then, Roderick, I need you to give me a hard -20 awareness sound test to see if you can make out what they're saying across the milling voices and the loud hailers. It's not going to be easy. Mordecai, you're reading lips. Good news for you is Eragan is facing you. So his face is fully visible.
And he does, in fact, have lips, correct?
He does, in fact, have lips. You did not cut them off, so he does have lips.
That's actually a legit question to be asking, I suppose.
Said it was a hard -20?
-20.
All right. Well, I rolled a 2, so that's good. My awareness is a 45, so that's now a 25, so +2.
+2.
And so we'll say crit success.
Yeah.
We'll say that you pick up some of the audio as you're kind of walking to grab the round of drinks and back. So Roderick, you would hear a little bit of this. Mordecai, you're going to read lips, and I'll kind of share with you. You see as Eragan basically says to Rigel and the others, you see him say, "Thanks for bailing me out. I'll make it up to you." And you can't see Rigel because he's facing the other way, but Roderick, you can hear Rigel as he goes, "Yeah, about that. Your debt has just quadrupled. You're up to 4,000. So you're going to be running this shit until the day you die." Now, Roderick, you would catch that as you walked by. But Mordecai, you can see the lips of Eragan as you're getting one side of this conversation, so you guys would have to do a little psychic relay to put it together. But you see as Eragan's response back is, yeah, of course, I'll get you paid. I'll get you paid. So it's very easy to see that he's out for a reason.
Now, interesting.
I'll relay that information that Eragan has significant debt.
Okay. Quinton, if you had gone to grab the jacket and kept going, you would have ended up closer to Mordecai, but you could circle back.
I would. I'd probably just grab a jacket, loop around, basically trying to
get to
space behind the guy that knows of me.
I know that I can't glean too much from this, but as he's saying this to Eragan, do I get the sense that he has like a significant amount of fear for him, or like do I get the sense that if I intervene on this, he might be looking for a way to get away from Ragu to some degree? I know I can't glean too much, but
challenging +0 intuition.
All right. Yeah, I don't know anything.
He seems perfectly content to be drinking his grain liquor and hanging out. Quinton, so to make sure I understand, you are circling back to be behind Eragan along like the northernmost wall?
Yeah, basically I want to get into a void maybe about 5 to 10 feet behind him, so that directly behind him, so that he has to completely turn around in order to see me.
Okay. So as you're kind of walking around behind them, and literally the only reason for this is because you did violate his mind, he can see you, but he doesn't know who you are. He turns and he goes, "Hi, yeah, I'll take it." And he looks at your apparel. He goes, "Oh, you're not a waiter. What do you want?" And as he says this, you see as the attention of a couple others, now that he's called you out, they seem to look to you. And
why did he call me out? Because it's not like I was actively walking by him.
So where they are is they're in a corner. To get behind him, you have to go into that corner.
Okay, I didn't understand. I thought they were on like a section of the room, that there was a room behind him.
No, they were in a corner. I wouldn't have gone behind him. Okay, so then roll that back. Doesn't say anything. To reiterate, Valathi knives are in this corner. They're in a corner of the bar.
They're in a complete corner, and he's
a literal corner of the bar.
To a corner.
Yeah, he's got his back to the wall.
Yeah, I would not have tried to bind him. I would have gone to the side of him, basically sitting in a chair facing completely away from him.
Got it. Okay, yeah, there's a table next to the knives that's basically just empty. You can grab a seat there.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. I wouldn't go behind him if there was a corner. I didn't understand that.
That was why I asked a second time. I was like, you want to get behind him? Okay, now we're aligned. So to reiterate, so everyone's aligned. The knives are in the, let's call it the northwest corner. They're in an actual corner with two walls. Roderick is hanging out with another gang in the northeast corner. They are across the garden from each other with as much space between them as possible. So, with that, Quinton, you take up your seat. You begin to listen to the milling conversation. Roderick, you return with the round of drinks. And you see as the guy who looked at you with that half augmetic jaw and the huge hand looks at you and goes, "All right, you're not half bad." Takes one of the drinks, throws it directly back, and as he does, the woman who first assessed you backhands him as he's drinking it, and he ends up spitting it into someone else's face, and she goes, "Well, that was downright rude. We don't do rude. Go buy another one." He just kind of goes, "Yes, Mom." Walks over to the bar to buy himself a drink. She looks to you and she goes, "I am quite sorry. Well, you're not one of us. No one should take a drink off a tray without being handed it first. Please." And she scoots over, pats the seat next to her where the big guy had been sitting and says, "Sit."
I think we're going to get along just fine, you and me.
Give me a challenging +0 intuition people check.
So 24. My people intuition is a 55, so +3.
Okay. That is a wonderfully impressive success. She grins, and the smile does not reach her eyes. It is a borderline murderous flit of a smile as she goes, "I wouldn't count on that just yet."
Fair enough.
Who are you?
Name's Roderick Wrangler. Pleased to meet you. Like
Roderick.
I said, playing it side for a few days, trying to get the lay of the land. You look like you know what you're about.
Ha! You could say that. Most folks around here call me Nightshade, but my name's Elena. Given that you're here for a few days, I'm sure you don't know who we are, but we are the Scarred Hands. We run this bar and we run this floor. She eyes the Velathian knives as she says this, and she goes, "Now that being said, we have some competition for folks who seem to think they want something from us. So, we appreciate the drinks, but you'll understand our hesitancy to share too much with someone we just don't know."
That's all right. Not really looking to pry. Just looking for a little social interaction, honestly. I know it's probably strange, but I am Roderick Wrangler. I'm kind of loudmouth if you haven't noticed. I'm a social individual. Again, if ever you get sick of my company, I will see my way out. That you can be assured of.
She nods, and she goes, All right. Well, on that note, you are more than welcome to share with us. Tell me something, Roderick Wrangler. What makes an off-worlder approach a very obvious gang, dressed in black, right as Rigel walks into the bar, and you see as her, because of your prior intuition, you see as her eyes narrow as if she already knows the answer.
Like, I get the sense she knows that I know who Rigel is. Like,
you get the sense that she's getting at.
She's paranoid about Rigel, is what I'm assuming.
Sure, you could think of it like that. But the actual
would it have been about the same time? Because I would have warned them that we were coming into the bar. So if anything, he could have timed it ahead of it.
Based on the timing at the end of last session, start of this session, it probably was very simultaneous because they basically beat you into the bar. You had given them a warning that you were on the way. They had beaten you to the bar. They would have dispersed pretty much right before you guys actually walked in the doors. So Roderick, to that point, she has this glint in her eyes if she's putting two and two together as to why you joined their table.
You are an intuitive individual, are you not? Can I tell you something?
Please.
I get the sense that you and these knives don't get along very well. And frankly, I don't think I like them very much from what I've seen of them.
That makes two of us.
Oil and water, enemy of my enemy, so to speak. Again, just here to socialize, not looking for anything from you. But I figure, if you're the other hand in this here hive, perhaps you're the stronger hand, and can't hurt to be on your good side.
Roderick Wrangler, you are an interesting one. I tell you what,
Get what
Roderick.
you give, Nightshade. I give her a little wink.
I tell you what, Roderick. The knives are a problem, a thorn in my side, and here, in the Edifice, the Tears, neutral ground. Can't really do much if you know what I'm saying. That being said, I can't, but you can. Enemy of my enemy.
As we're talking, I'm also handing out the drinks to everybody at the table.
As this has happened, the big guy has come back with his own, and he's handed you a drink as well, and he just goes, sorry about that.
Sorry, mate. Didn't catch your name. Big guy. Oh. I don't care what it is.
Nikolai. But they call me, and he holds up his hand, and you can see why. He goes, they call me Iron Fist, and his whole, half of his hand is just Nogmatic.
Well, Iron Fist, put her there. And I reach out one hand, realizing it's going to be the hand that he's going to crush my hand with his, and then I switch to the other hand, but maybe with his hand.
Which hand do you extend?
The one that he's not going to crush with his automatic.
Okay, so he flips from his left hand, from shaking left, he brings out his right, and he squeezes.
Still strong. I'm assuming, but
your hand makes popping noises as he goes, oh, sorry.
I'll shake it out and give him a smile. All good. No harm, no foul. I've had worse.
Elena's just rolling her eyes and goes, I swear to God, Nikolai, you are the biggest oaf. If your father wasn't an Ogren, I would be surprised. Listen. I'll make a proposition. The knives have something I want. They have a way to make a lot of money. It's this drug everyone's going on about. I want their supplier. You get me that, I'll make it worth your while.
Interesting proposition. Take a little sip. Tell me anything about this, I kind of look around, drug?
Call it gratis. The serfs and the laborers go crazy for it. Beyond that, I don't know too much. I just know that I want to know where they're getting it. And I want them out. And I'm willing to pay you 5,000 solars if you make it so.
Now, just so I'm clear, you looking to take over distribution or end it altogether?
No, I want the distribution. You misunderstand. 5,000 solars once I gain their distribution? That's less than a month's earnings. My goal is to be rich and to take care of this floor in a way that they don't. They are brutes and they are uneducated swine. They get their way through pure brute force. I prefer to get mine another way. As she says this, Nikolai accidentally crushes the glass next to her and she looks over and goes, with a little bit of brute force on the side.
Brute force does make the world go round, am I right?
Mordecai.
Yeah.
You're still watching Eragan. Quinton, I need a awareness sound. Because of your distance, I'll say it's challenging +0.
+2.
+2. So Mordecai, you can read the lips. Quinton, you can hear this as he says, all right, well, I suppose I better get back to the deliveries. Now, Mordecai, you can't read these lips because, again, Rigel is facing the other way. But Quinton, you hear Rigel go, yeah, you really should go make those other deliveries. Hey, by the way, whatever happened to your distribution at the Manufactorum and the House of Toil? Because we seem to run into someone in the little space between group of folks saying they were told that we had the good stuff. You haven't been talking about us, have you? Mordecai, you read the lips. Quinton, you hear as Eragan goes, no. Now. We bailed you out. We know what it took to get you out, and we know what put you in. Who the hell are they? I don't know. First they saved me, and the next thing I know, I'm out cold. and then I'm in jail. I don't know any more than that. No, that's not good enough. See, here's what you're going to do. You're going to find them, and you're going to tell me when you find them, because I don't like people sniffing into my business. So you go make your deliveries, and you go check on all of your contacts, and if any single one of them talked, you know what to do. And you, Mordecai, you see as a knife goes across the table.
I'm relaying the other part of the conversation psychically.
I'm basically assuming you guys are playing telephone to put the conversation together.
Yeah.
Eragan doesn't take the knife. He visibly pales and he goes, no, I can't. I can't do that. I don't care if you can do it. You're going to. You've already put us at too much risk. Now get the fuck out of here.
I would doubt the moment I hear someone getting up from the table, I'm going to look like I'm going to go pick up something or like tie my shoe on the turning away from where he would potentially be walking.
Okay. So you just kind of like knock him off the table and reach down. Yeah.
I just kind of dip my head down a little bit so my hood's kind of...
Assuming he's getting up, that's what I would do. I don't know when he's actually going to, but the minute I hear that, that's what I'm doing.
He takes the knife, tucks it into a pocket, and begins to walk. Now, Dmitry, you're just kind of observing. Anything you want to do while you're sitting there at that bar?
Well, from where he's moved thus far, can I reasonably estimate where he's going? Is he just heading towards the front door?
He's walking right back out the door you came in.
And who does that take him past?
So it'll loop him past Quinton. It will not take him past Roderick. And he will pass by you, but he'll go behind your back.
Behind my back. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he's just going to walk behind my back and I'm slouched down drinking with these guys, I think I'm going to hold what I got.
Okay.
I'm going to telepathically...
I start blasting.
Right. I'm going to telepathically talk to Mordecai if I'm savvy to the fact that Eragan's alive and he's leaving. I'm going to be like, he could be a problem. He knows who we are. We might need to take him out, guys.
Well, he does seem to be on his own right now. Perhaps a couple of us could go take care of it right now.
If only we had a penumbra and a unseeable psyker.
Speaking of which, I have not seen Quinoa in quite some time.
How much do we want to send? One of us should stay.
I'm quite comfortable where
I believe you and I could go. Looks like Roderick has just made some new friends.
Solid.
Where are you anyway?
Since we're having this conversation cycle again, hopefully it's going really fast. I would say we don't want to lose ears on the target.
Let's go. I'm going to get up and I'm just going to head straight towards the door. Because I don't even know where Quinton is in this bar anyway.
Okay. I mean, you do. You can see him.
Oh, I can see him now.
Maybe don't leave. Maybe don't leave together.
For a few episodes. I just thought you were running a bit and I was letting it happen. You've been able to see Quinton since I think episode 4 when he booped you.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing like as I've been editing episodes, I've been hearing you say that, and I'm like, how long is this bit gonna go?
Once I'm aware of him, I'm just aware of him.
Correct. You're aware of him. It never goes back to being unaware.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Until he redoes his shroud.
I legitimately redo the bit.
I must say though, you certainly are unremarkable.
I know.
Not a single distinguishing feature about you.
Now, Mordecai, are you sneaking out of the bar, or are you just going to walk out like you belong? You have your hood up, though. Oh, you have your hood up. You're good.
Yeah. I'm not going to make a thing of it. I'm just going to get up. I'll leave the one solar I have in my pocket on the table as a tip, and
out of character, I am still slightly worried about us losing yours on the character. But if we do want to send both of us, I will go.
I'm going to say we can send Mordecai first and then have you tail a couple minutes later. I think that'd be fine. Just saying. That way it doesn't look like you're leaving together, too.
Yeah.
I mean, since we have communication link,
I'm completely invisible to the rest of the group there. I could just continue to listen to them because I don't know if you guys will be able to hear what they're saying.
If you want me to, I will wait for an advantageous time and I will take him out with my rifle. I don't care.
I keep forgetting you have a fucking sniper rifle, dude.
Got a fucking sniper rifle.
This sounds like good plan.
In the Hive.
All right, I'll start tailing him. I'm a penumbra. I'll be smart about it. Like, I'm gonna stay back far enough to where I can just keep him in my visual line.
I'm gonna actually stay in the bar. Then. I'm gonna stay with where I'm at the table and listening to that group.
Mordecai, here's what I want from you.
Okay.
You are gonna do a joint test to tail him successfully. So.
Okay.
You're keeping him in eyesight, but trying to stay out of his understanding. So what I want a single roll. It's a double test. You're doing an awareness sight and a stealth any. Not move silently because you're not trying to move quietly. You're trying to stay out of sight. So you cannot use your move silently perk here. And that will be opposed by...
I'm liking the 20s tonight.
Oh, all right. Let's see how...
Okay, give me again awareness and...
It's awareness, sight, and just stealth.
Awareness, sight,
pure
and
stealth. No
okay.
specializations allowed.
Plus 3 on both.
Plus 3 on both. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing, you know?
I like it. I'm quickly triple checking Eragan's stat block for
there goes my prediction that Mordecai is the first to die. Guess it's Dmitry now.
All right, so you had a plus 3 to both, so you managed to keep an eye on him, and you think that he is unaware of you. Let's call it that way. And just gonna check his stat block really quick. Let's see. You had a plus 3 for your stealth.
Plus 3 for both, sir.
We have our first ever tie. So what I need to know is what is the actual skill level for your stealth?
54.
Oh, that smokes him. Okay. So when we have a tie, what ends up happening is if the success levels of the two test tie, he rolled a 008. I wasted an 8 for this.
When this is the least I could do for you.
When you have a tie in success level, the next step is you compare the skill levels. So your stealth was a 54, his perception was a 36. His awareness perception was a 36. Now, if those had matched, just to make this clear for everyone here, if you had a 54 and he had a 54, then we go to Eric, this was Eric's idea, and I think it's fantastic. We would go to who rolled better on the dice. So rules as written is most success levels first, highest skill level if tied, GM's discretion after that. Eric had a great idea. We're going to implement it where GM's discretion is, it's going to be based on the value rolled on the die. Now, if those match, good God, we will make it up as we go from there.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. I'm following. I was thinking for a second, I was like, but if they have the same skill and they roll the same thing they would have to roll the same thing on the dice to have a tie, right?
Yeah. No. If you have the same skill level, so if you have a 54.
Oh, because there's 2 different skills that are opposed. Never mind.
Yeah,
I got
correct.
you.
Yeah, like, let's say both skills were a 54, though. A 32 and a 36 is the same success level.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, if somebody rolled a 32 and somebody rolled a 36 and they both have +2, we would deign it to the 32 as the winner. Because they rolled better on the dice.
Got it.
Sounds good. Sounds fair.
Anyway.
Do I see any kind of book depository building or anything to set up shop?
No. No, you're moving through old halves.
There's a grassy knoll halfway.
You follow him for... let me ask you, Mordecai. How long would you like to follow him before you make your move?
I mean, I'm gonna follow him until I have an advantageous position. If I see him go into a building that looks like a fairly small place, I might see if there's a spot where I can conceal myself and pop him when he walks out.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do this in the middle of this a busy place.
Sure.
So if I don't find an advantageous place, I'll just keep tailing him until these guys say, they need me.
Okay. So Mordecai, you saw him get up and you had read his lips to understand that he's now going back to deliver gratis, which means he's going to different levels of the Hive. As he leaves the bar, he stays on the main thoroughfare that you guys took. And he continues along that way, and he's heading back towards the main lifts. We will leave it at that for now so we can jump back to everyone else. But you can pretty much fairly intuit that you're going to be following him on a main street all the way to a lift.
Hey, Alex. Bonus points if you send him out like Tywin Lannister. Know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. The reference just went over my head, unfortunately.
Shoot him in the porta-shitter.
Shoot him in the porta-shitter.
Pop that silencer on and just...
I guess spoiler alert 6 years later for that scene in Game of Thrones?
It's not a spoiler at this point.
It's not a spoiler. No.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Oh, spoiler alert for Alex then.
Yeah, you guys can shit on me about that later. I will someday. I've been talking about doing it for a while. I'll get to it.
Shit on you like Tywin almost shit on Tyrion? Anyway.
I'll apologize in advance if there's background noise. My dog is currently dreaming on his bed right now.
Oh, you're good. Puppy dreams are the best kind of background noise. Totally allowed.
I had to mute myself. I was like, he started doing his like high-pitched whining.
All right, so Mordecai, you are following him. You have the best guess that you're going to be following him all the way to lift. Dmitry, Quinton, Roderick, back in the bar. Quinton being where you are, you hear as the knives are kind of just milling about generalized conversation. You pick up snippets of just the basics of distribution. They're talking about moving the drug.
I'm relaying whatever I might think be relevant.
Sure.
So
now, keep in mind that when you guys reached Battery Manufactorum 6.938, it was about 1:30 in the afternoon at that point of the day when you made your way there. At this point, with everything else that's gone on and you making your way to the bar, it is closer to 3:30, 4 o'clock. We are getting to the evening hours. I have, is there anything else you guys want to do, or are you just going to stake out this bar and try to keep eyes on Rigel?
So, 2 questions. One for the party. Are we looking for a distraction at some point? Or not one that's going to happen, but like, should we be working towards one? Because the 3 of us just get, well, 2, they're not going to notice you, Quinton, but if we just get up and roll out, like, that might be noticed.
So, just to reiterate a few notes from last session that I had on what we were trying to do. We were planning to do one of basically 3 things. One of them was follow the money and see where the money goes, because we want to find the distributor, right? Another one was to cause an event that causes Regu to go to ground and follow him to where he goes to ground. And then figure out if he has like some sort of deal going on with the Vigilites, which he obviously does because he got Eragan freed. And then the other one was, could we somehow cause him to go back to the hostelry where we can be laying in wait for him? Not really sure if that's his go-to-ground spot or if that was just kind of a room he has on the side. But, so maybe we might need a distraction.
Then it depends which one we want to go. For you, Brad.
Sir?
These, I'm going to say IG, but the
Militarum members.
Yep. Militarum, there we go.
You can still call them the Imperial Guard. That is where it is near and dear to my heart. Circa not. 3rd edition.
Do these dudes look like they get up to some shit? Or do these look like some nerdy conscripts?
So PDF is Planetary Defense Force. It's the equivalent of the National Guard. Yeah. Is that enough of an answer? Let me elaborate.
Because
so they're within the Warhammer universe, the Planetary Defense Force of most planets is made up of the people who either didn't make the tithe for the Guard or made the tithe and were left behind, which means they don't get the same amount of training. They have no level of combat experience. Most PDF units are absolute dog shit cannon fodder in combat. Literally, the PDF get massacred en masse in most major combats if a planet is invaded. Now.
Okay, so these guys look like rule followers?
Didn't say that. The PDF is still a guard unit. They are still able to get up to some shit in terms of like breaking their own laws, taking bribes, etc. But in terms of like, do they look like they get up to some shit in terms of physically? No, they're both slightly sallow, overweight, don't look like they're in the best of shape. In terms of other kinds of getting up to shit, you got to find out.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was more of the if I pump these dudes full of drinks, is something cool going to happen? Well, probably not.
I will say this honestly because I was friends with someone who did not look like he would ever get up to things, but if you filled him with enough drinks, I had to stop him from getting up to things. So that's up to you to find out.
How much money do I have?
Hey, Brad.
Sir.
Also, I don't remember if I switched my silencer or not. I'm pretty sure it's probably on my rifle.
It's been on your rifle since last session when you put it on while walking down the promenade.
If I can find an advantageous, quick spot to conceal myself, I'm going to switch it to the stub pistol.
Okay.
I would assume that takes 35, 45 seconds if I'm moving quick, maybe a minute.
I would say probably a minute because you'd have to get it off the rifle, which per your own commentary, you keep slung under your cloak tight to your body out of sight so you don't get caught by the guard.
Correct.
Just for the mechanics of getting into a shadowy space, getting that around your body, getting it unscrewed, getting it reattached, I'd say probably closer to a minute minimum.
Okay.
But what we would say is if you want to do it quick, we'll test it.
If I can find a spot where he gets slowed down or hung up for a second, I'm going to just try and do it. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Whatever.
So, as you follow him, because of the time of day, there is a large crowd coming towards you, but he's navigating this crowd with ease. He does not slow down at all, even with the large crowd coming your way. That being said, what I need from you is a little bit of agility. So what I would like is a athletics. No, that's strength.
Dexterity?
Let's go reflexes. It's going to be a dexterity. That's the one thing I love, and I keep forgetting it. Dexterity in this game is hands. So give me a reflexes dodge if you have it.
+0.
+0 is good enough. Even as the crowd comes your way, you also do not slow down. You kind of weave your way through them, following and keeping your tail, but you never find a good time to step away without losing distance.
Fair enough.
Okay. Back to the bar. Dmitry, how much money do you have?
I mean, we've got enough to do whatever we want at this bar for drink-wise.
So what would you three like to do?
I'm going to be progressing the evening along. Like, I'm not just going to be sitting there not reciprocating and buying them drinks. Like, I'm going to be buying them drinks. I guess my goal is to just start talking. Like, I get the sense they're these PDF nerds. They haven't really done anything. So I'm not going to like go into story time with them at all. But
okay.
I'm going to lean more heavily onto the common bitches of service. And I'm going to be basically shit talking officers and talking about how those assholes ruin the day to day. And am I right? That's kind of what I'm going to be doing.
Give me a rapport charm at advantage +20. And that +20 is outside of the fact that you have a +1 success level to your influence already.
Okay. So, okay. So that's +20. So that's 4 success levels.
Is the 4
your +1?
I was going to say, is the 4 including your
that's
+1?
That's with the +1. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with 4 success levels, you over the course of the next, I'm going to do a little time here, and if the time frame starts to feel wrong, let me know. But over the course of the next few hours, because at this point you are at like the equivalent of a happy hour, right?
Yeah, I'm going to keep going until I get the bzz in the ear that I need to do something else.
So, Quinton, Roderick, Dmitry, we're going to do a little timey-wimey time lapse here really quick. Unless you three change your action, if you're staying there to watch Rigel, you will be there for...
is going to every few minutes peg them. Should I just probe his mind? He's just going to keep asking that question over and over until he gets an answer he likes.
Man.
Oh, God. Okay.
I'm going to say, not yet. Quinoa.
And then a few minutes later, 5 minutes later, he's going to ask the exact same question. Wait for something.
Is can I probe his mind the "Are we there yet" of Quinton's life right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hell yeah. I do want on a record, though, Brad. She asked me if I was interested in a deal. Yep. I'm going to respond in I'll call it a fey way, and let her believe that our interests are pretty aligned. That her mission is not my primary goal, but it also doesn't conflict with my goal, even though it definitely does. It might, but I'll let her know if I can find a way to get it done. It's yours. But I would like to know, is there any resources or information you can give me to help me in this endeavor? That is pretty much the question on the table.
So she mentions, I'll say what this is, and then we'll kind of do the summation of the next few hours. The conversation is not so quick as for her to just give you that answer, but as you pry and you chat over the next couple hours with your drinks as everything is going on, as Dmitry is plying the astromilitary units, as Quinton is asking you 20 times an hour on the hour, are we there yet? Can I zap him yet? Can I read his brain yet? And as Mordecai follows Eragan, what you find from her over the course of these hours as you go down that line of conversation is outside of this hive level, she knows that there are things that go on. She knows there are things that are lower than where she is today. She knows that there are things that happen on other levels. She gives you a little bit of information, not a ton, but what she is able to share is that the answers you're looking for are most likely to be found in what's called the bowels. Now, you are a hiver. You understand that the bowels is basically slang for the lowest of the low levels. It is just pure danger to go down there in most cases. What she says to you is the answers you're looking for will most likely need to come from the knives themselves, and unless you're going to go interrogate Rigel, your best bet is to head down to the pit, a fighting arena run by the knives within the bowels. So Dmitry, Roderick, and Quinton. Over the course of the next 3 hours, Roderick, you ply the one gang with drinks, the Scarred Hands. Dmitry, you ply your 2 Astromilitar and PDF boys. Quinton, you keep listening, not being noticed, and asking, can I do it yet? Mordecai.
Yeah.
You reach the lift at 35, 40 minutes after leaving the bar. Nice long walk. Do you follow as he takes the lift?
How many people are getting into the lift?
3, and he's one of them.
2 others? Okay.
2 others. Just 2 other citizens.
How big's the lift?
It's one of the big lifts, so it's like a 15-foot by 15-foot square that's meant to haul people and goods north and south. And you watch as everyone in front of you pays 3 solar to take the lift.
Shit, do I have solars?
Good God. Man, I swear to God, if you just don't have solars and that's the reason you lose this tail.
No, I do.
Have no money.
I have a few. I started with 16. I spent, 3 at the bar? No, 5, 6.
5 at the bar.
Okay, yeah. Plus I left 1, so I have 10 solars.
You have 10 solars. So it's a 3 solar fee. Okay, so you pay and you get on the lift as well.
I got my hood up.
Yep.
I'll just pay. I'll just kind of as inconspicuously as I can.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to stand behind him if possible.
Okay. Yeah, you manage to get on the lift and kind of tuck into a corner. You see his arrogance not paying attention at this point. He's busy kind of like looking at his hands and muttering to himself a little bit. As the lift rises, the lift is going back to the mud gate. So he's going back to the top. As you get on that lift, and that lift begins to rise from where you are within the sublevels, Dmitry, Quinton, Roderick, you're plying drinks. The Mordecai, you jump up 2 levels and you continue to tail him through the mud gate. And as you do, you see as he is moving, as you saw earlier, stop to stop, ship to ship. He's got what appears to be a route that he takes.
So when he goes into one of these places, I'm going to take advantage of that time to put my silencer on my pistol.
Yeah. You can tuck behind some crates with an eye of him kind of talking to the crew of one of the ship ports where he stops by. And you manage to make that swap. Mordecai, do me one favor. Roll me an awareness sight, and we will call it difficult -10.
Okay. Jeez. 11.
All right.
Nice.
Dude, yeah, these dice are treating me nice tonight. Awareness sight. 4 success. Or I'm sorry, 3 success levels because of the -10.
Levels. Okay. Here's what you see. You see as Eragan goes towards a ship, and as he's heading towards this ship, 2 bays down, another ship is slowly landing. He reaches up and he speaks with the crew a bit, and you see as he reaches into his coat, and from those lines of vials that he had when you first met him, he's pulling out small vials and he's selling it. Now, Mordecai, you see from this distance with that test that each vial that he sells, he's taking about 7 solars. So every number he told you guys when you first grabbed him of 15 solars was utter horseshit in terms of what he owed. He sells 1 vial. Moves
Pretty
along.
cheap drug.
Sells another. Well, you think about it. They're trying to sell it to the poorest people in the Hive.
Sure.
Volume is going to be what pushes. But he moves his way. And you follow him as he makes his way from that ship to the second ship. And each time he's got one person where he walks up to him, quick little handshake, pat on the back. As he walks away, that gentleman has a vial. He's got solars. And he makes his way to the third ship. Now, as the third ship, the one you saw landing, stops. It's interesting. It's extremely rusted. Some of the outer works seem almost corroded and disgusting. The gates, the gangplank or the drop plank, drop gate, I don't know what the right word is for a rear hatch that falls down like a ramp, but the rear hatch falls. And 4 people walk out. And with your test, you see as Eragan pauses. And he kind of hesitates. And he looks extremely uncomfortable. We'll get back to that in just a minute. In the bar, Dmitry, these PDF troopers are riled. You've swapped a little stories. You've plied them with drinks. They're with you. All in, we'll say that you had to buy 3 rounds. So 45 solar total.
Oh, okay.
They've bought you 3 rounds as well. So I'd also like Dmitry and Roderick. Roderick, have you continued to drink with the scarred hands over these 2 hours?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I
want
was
both
trying
of
to
you.
get drunk or anything, but I will have
You
been
may not
drinking.
have been trying to be. You may not have been trying to be, but you're drinking
how
green
many
alcohol.
stories start with I wasn't trying to be drunk.
So what I'd like is Dmitry and Roderick. I would like a... what test is it? Because there's no consume alcohol in this game. This is
Yeah,
not
I sure
Warhammer
hope
Fantasy
I
with that.
sure hope they improved it because Warhammer Fantasy was rough.
I was also mean to you in Warhammer Fantasy about that.
I would have
let's go with-
maybe fortitude, or
I
just
would
like
say fortitude
toughness in
first
general.
Yeah, I was going to say fortitude. I'll tell you what. We'll call it fortitude, which is a toughness test. And if you have specializations in poison, you can factor that in because it's alcohol, which is a poison. So I would like a challenging +0 fortitude poison test, Dmitry and Roderick.
All of a sudden, Roderick starts saying "crikey" a lot.
Crikey.
Crikey.
This is a knife.
1 success for me.
Okay.
Don't love that. Can I use... Wow, man. It's been a minute since we talked about fate. Does fate let me re-roll, or what does that do?
Temporary
spend
spend,
it, yes.
you can re-roll it. Yep.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Because that was real bad. And that's marginally better. So that's a -3.
Okay.
Saucy.
So Dmitry,
And this was a challenging, right?
challenging +0. Dmitry,
Yeah.
you hold your liquor just fine, being a member of the guard, Astra Militarum. You actually drink these PDF troopers under the table. They both had -2.
All
So
right.
they are all sauced up and excited, and they're beginning to like jostle with each other and jostle with you, talking about fights they've been in and bar brawls they broke up, and the story begins to roll. Roderick, you're watching this and you're seeing as the scarred hands, at this point they like you. They're not getting too much into the
wouldn't
details,
they?
but
Crikey.
No.
There it is.
there it is. They're not getting too far into the details of what's going on. But obviously Nightshade or Elena has shared with you a bit, given you a little bit of an offer for a job. You see as...
One thing I probably would have also tried to get some information on, I wouldn't push too hard, but I'll mention her. I noticed that the knives seem to have some pull with the Vigilites, and see what I get out of that, if she knows if they do, or if Scarred Hands also do, or if that's new information to her, maybe use that as a, well, here's what I know. A good source says they got one of their guys out of the Vigilites' hands here really recently. That kind of thing.
Yeah. She scowls at that and mentions that every gang has one or two members of the Vigilites that they try to keep on payroll. Chances are that was how the knives got Eragan out. However, the one thing that you take a note of is she mentions that bitch Petronilla can't be bought, and it's annoying.
Good to know.
You, however, Roderick, are drunk. You will suffer -10 to all tests involving any kind of fine dexterity, firing a weapon, fighting, etc. You have a -10 to everything.
However, she's looking a lot better now, isn't she?
Oh, good lord! You have a plus. You have a temporary plus to your influence with the Scarred Hands until further notice.
Just +1.
Just +1. Mordecai.
Yeah.
Circling back real quick to that ship. That gangplank drops. That back drop hatch drops. These 4 people walk out. With your roll, you notice that there's something about these 4 that just isn't right. You see as Eragan kind of pauses, and one of them turns, and he's a towering figure with an overtly handsome face. A very fine, thin mustache. And his skin is very pale, but where you can see around his neck, in his ears, and the corners of his eyes, his veins are kind of almost black in visibility. And he looks over at Eragon, he goes, "You there. Come here." And you see as Eragon begins to approach this tall, towering figure who is flanked by a thin, short, hooded figure that seems completely concealed. You can't even see her face under her hood. A massive, hulking brute of a man who is fully robed, hood up, not showing any of his features. And another woman who is almost like twisted in deformity as her back is bent over and she's leaning on a stave as she walks. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Ooh, looks like my prediction might be back on the table.
Sounds like mutant shit.
Oh man,
It's
man,
okay.
alive.
I can easily roll a new character.
You know, you say that.
Dude said rusty ship and gnarled back. We all know he loves Nurgle.
I wish.
That's it.
I
No
wish.
frag grenades coming out next episode.
That brings us to the end of episode 11. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to head on over to deadsonscode.com for the latest news and links to all of our socials. If you've liked what you heard and you want to support us, please consider heading over to patreon.com/deadsonscompany and show us some love. Patron supporters get early access to all of our episodes, as well as exclusive access to our behind-the-scenes view called Behind the Hive. And until then, this is Dead Sons Company. We'll see you at episode 12.
Don't be a heretic. Give us a click.
So good.